The knock came just after sunrise, sharp and urgent, cutting through the quiet of a tired morning like a warning. Aaron Cole froze in his small kitchen, one hand still wrapped around a chipped coffee mug, his heart sinking with the familiar fear that came with unexpected knocks. He had learned, since life stripped him down to survival mode, that nothing good usually waited on the other side of sudden interruptions. Outside his door stood a woman holding a child close, both of them pale with exhaustion, eyes heavy with a desperation that felt heavier than the cold air around them. All she managed to say was that they needed shelter for one night, and in that moment, Aaron's past, his pain, and his promise to his own son collided. If you believe in kindness, second chances, and the quiet power of ordinary people doing extraordinary things, take a moment right now to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel Everyday Kindness. Stories like this exist because people like you believe they matter. Aaron had never planned on being a single father. Life had decided that for him on a rainy afternoon 3 years earlier, when everything he loved was taken in a single phone call. Since then, his days were carefully measured between work shifts, school drop-offs, and the constant mental arithmetic of bills versus groceries. His small rented house wasn't much, but it was safe, clean, and filled with the quiet determination of a man refusing to let his son grow up without stability. Every nail in the wall, every repaired hinge, carried the weight of survival and stubborn hope. He had learned to lock his heart the same way he locked his door at night. The woman at the door was named Marisol, and the child clinging to her coat was her daughter, Noemi. They looked like they had been walking for hours under the open sky, their shoes dusted, their faces drawn tight by hunger and fear. Aaron noticed the way Noemi's eyes darted around, searching for danger even in daylight, and it reminded him painfully of his own son during the first year after loss. That look never belonged to a child. It belonged to someone who had learned too early that the world could be cruel. Aaron's mind raced with reasons to say no. He didn't have extra money. He didn't have space. He didn't have emotional room for strangers and their troubles. Most of all, he didn't have protection from the risks that came with opening doors to unknown lives. But standing there, with the sun climbing slowly and illuminating the cracks in the pavement, he felt something heavier than fear. He felt responsibility. Not obligation, but recognition. He knew what it meant to be one bad day away from losing everything. He let them in. The house smelled faintly of toast and detergent, a simple, honest smell of routine. Marisol barely spoke as she sat on the edge of the couch, still holding Noemi as if someone might try to take her away. Aaron offered water, then food, then space, all without pressure. He noticed how carefully Marisol watched him, measuring his kindness like someone who had been fooled before. Trust, he knew, was earned slowly, and sometimes only temporarily. As the morning turned into afternoon, fragments of their story surfaced without forcing. Marisol had escaped a situation that left bruises deeper than skin. She had chosen safety over certainty, walking away with nothing but her child and the courage to keep moving. Shelters were full. Phones were unanswered. Every door before Aaron's had stayed closed. She wasn't asking for rescue, only rest. Aaron's son, Theo, came home from school to find unexpected guests and a quiet tension hanging in the air. He said nothing, but his eyes softened when he saw Noemi sitting cross-legged on the floor, drawing shapes on scrap paper. Two children, strangers minutes ago, shared crayons without questions, without fear. Watching them, Aaron felt something loosen inside his chest. Maybe kindness didn't always complicate life. Maybe sometimes it simplified it. By evening, the house felt different. Not louder, not chaotic, just fuller. Aaron cooked more than usual, stretching ingredients the way he always had, and everyone ate like people who hadn't known when their next meal would come. Sunlight streamed through the windows, touching the walls like a blessing, reminding him that this moment, however brief, mattered. That night, when the house finally grew quiet, Aaron lay awake, staring at the ceiling. He wondered if kindness was reckless or brave, if tomorrow would punish him for today's mercy. But he also felt something he hadn't felt in years, peace. The kind that doesn't come from safety, but from doing what feels right even when it's hard. Morning arrived gently. Marisol stood near the door, gratitude written across her face in ways words couldn't carry. She had found a lead on help, a place willing to take them in. This night had been a bridge, not a solution, but bridges save lives. Noemi hugged Theo tightly before leaving, a silent promise between two children who understood loss more than most. Before they stepped back into the world, Aaron realized something profound. Opening his door hadn't weakened him. It had reminded him who he was before fear taught him to shrink. Sometimes survival hardens people. Sometimes kindness softens them again. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that even one small act can change everything, please take a moment to like, comment, and share this video. Your engagement helps stories of hope reach people who desperately need them. And before the ending, we have a special request. Comment, "The door stayed open," if you believe that compassion still has a place in this world.